Have you ever sat down with a piece of grilled fish, thinking, this is healthy? I'm doing the right thing for my body, only to find out later, that same fish could be silently working against your health? Now, I know what you're thinking, fish is supposed to be good for you, right? That's what we've been told for years. It's lean. It's full of omega-3s. It's light on the stomach. But here's what no one ever tells you. Not all fish are created equal. And for older adults, especially those over 60, certain types of fish can actually be dangerous. I'm talking about memory problems that sneak up on you. I'm talking about sudden spikes in blood pressure, aching joints that never seem to settle, and a foggy feeling you can't explain. Sometimes, it's not just aging, it's what's on your plate. You see, some fish carry high levels of mercury, toxins, and chemicals that build up in your body over time. Especially in older adults with slower metabolism and more sensitive systems. And the scary part? Most people have no idea. They keep eating these same fish, week after week, believing they're doing something good, when in fact, they're quietly setting themselves up for serious health problems. You might even have one of them sitting in your fridge, or your freezer right now. So, if you're someone who cares about your brain, your heart, your memory, if you want to live the next chapter of your life with clarity, strength, and dignity, this video is for you. Because today, we're going to talk about 6 fish that older adults should never eat, at all costs. And I promise you, some of these are so common, you've probably eaten one just this month without knowing the risk. So, stick with me. Because by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly which fish to avoid, why they're dangerous, and what safer options you can enjoy instead. Comment, still learning, if you're here to protect your health or someone you love. And don't forget to subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Guide, where we share the truths that keep your golden years truly golden. Let's dive in. Let's start with a fish that sounds harmless, but is anything but. King mackerel. Now, I want you to picture James. He's 72, retired, lives in Texas. Every Saturday for the past 10 years, he'd fire up the grill and throw on a few thick mackerel steaks. He loved that smoky flavor, that firm texture. And to him, it felt like a healthy choice. No red meat, no frying, just good old grilled fish. But here's the thing. James started noticing little changes. He couldn't remember names as easily, started repeating the same stories, misplaced his keys, then his wallet. Eventually, his wife convinced him to see a doctor. And when the tests came back? Sky-high mercury levels. The culprit? King mackerel. You see, this particular fish, though tasty, is one of the worst offenders when it comes to mercury content. And mercury doesn't just pass through your body. No, especially in older adults, it builds up. It lingers in your blood. It crosses into your brain. And once it gets there, it can interfere with your nervous system, speed up cognitive decline, and increase the risk of conditions like memory loss, anxiety, and even dementia. Now, a lot of folks don't realize this. Because fish is marketed as brain food, right? Eat fish to keep your mind sharp. That's the common message. But here's the truth no one tells you, not all fish help your brain. Some can actually destroy it. And king mackerel? It's one of the worst. Especially for those of us whose bodies don't process toxins as quickly anymore. But here's the good news, you don't have to give up on mackerel completely. There's a safer version called Atlantic mackerel. It's lower in mercury, still packed with omega-3s, and far less risky for older adults. So, if mackerel's your favorite, make the switch. Same flavor, way less danger. But mercury poisoning doesn't stop with just one fish. There's another one, light, flaky, often used in tacos and seafood platters, and people think it's heart healthy. But for seniors? It might be slowly breaking you down from the inside out. Let's talk about tilefish. Now let me introduce you to Margaret, a 68-year-old retired librarian from North Carolina. Every Thursday, she'd treat herself to lunch at her favorite little seafood cafe on the corner. And her go-to order? Tilefish tacos. Crispy, golden, served with a fresh lime wedge. It felt light, fresh, and healthy. A treat she looked forward to every week. But then something changed. Margaret began to feel tingling in her fingertips. Then it spread to her toes. At first, she thought it was just poor circulation or maybe her arthritis acting up. But the numbness got worse. Her balance started to shift. Her hands didn't grip things the way they used to. After a few visits to the doctor, some blood tests, and a long conversation with a nutritionist, the answer came back: tilefish. Mercury poisoning. You see, tilefish is one of those deceptively dangerous fish. It looks clean, white, and harmless on the plate. But beneath that flaky texture is something most people, especially older adults, don't see coming. It's packed with mercury. In fact, tilefish ranks near the very top of the mercury chart. It's up there with shark and swordfish. And unlike younger bodies that can flush out some toxins, aging systems are more sensitive. The kidneys don't clear things as quickly. The brain is more vulnerable. Even a little mercury, over time, can do real damage to the nervous system. The scariest part? Most people don't even know they're eating it. Tilefish isn't always clearly labeled. In many markets or restaurants, it's just called white fish, and let's be honest, that sounds innocent enough. But here's the rule of thumb: if you're not sure where it comes from, especially if it's from the Gulf of Mexico, avoid it altogether. That region has some of the highest mercury concentrations in its seafood. Always ask. Always check the label. And if you're eating out, don't be afraid to speak up. Because a few tilefish tacos might seem harmless. But when you're over 60, even small exposures add up fast. Now, if tilefish surprised you, wait till you hear about the next one. This next fish is often praised for being a healthy indulgence. It's rich. It's meaty. It's served at fine restaurants and backyard barbecues alike. But what most people don't know is, it might be silently wearing down your heart and fogging up your brain. Let's talk about swordfish. Let me tell you about Paul, a 74-year-old retired mechanic from Michigan. Last Thanksgiving, his daughter wanted to do something a little different. Instead of the usual turkey, she grilled a big, beautiful swordfish steak for the whole family. It looked impressive, thick, juicy, perfectly seared. And Paul? He loved it. He went back for seconds. But later that evening, he didn't feel quite right. He got dizzy, lightheaded, almost like the room was tilting. He thought maybe it was the wine. Or maybe he stood up too fast. But over the next few days, the fog didn't lift. He felt slower, like his mind couldn't catch up to his body. So, what happened? Well, after a few doctor visits and some nutritional reviews, the answer pointed straight to that dinner. Swordfish. Now, I know, swordfish is often seen as a premium fish. It's rich in flavor, packed with protein, and even advertised for its omega-3 benefits. But for older adults? It's not just risky. It's outright dangerous. Swordfish is extremely high in mercury. And not just a little. It's one of the worst among all edible fish. And mercury, once again, doesn't just come and go. It builds up in your system, slowly, day after day, bite after bite, until suddenly, it shows up as memory lapses, vision problems, fatigue, confusion, or worse. But here's something most people miss: it's not just the mercury. Swordfish also has a dense, oily flesh that makes it hard for older digestive systems to process. As we age, our digestion naturally slows. our enzyme production decreases. So heavy meats, fish included, can sit in the stomach longer, causing bloating, discomfort, and even acid reflux. So, while swordfish looks like a smart, lean choice on the outside, on the inside, it's doing more damage than good. Now, if you're eating swordfish for the omega-3s, here's a safer bet: sardines or wild-caught salmon. Both are loaded with healthy fats, but come with none of the mercury problems. And they're easier on your stomach too. Smaller fish like sardines are lower on the food chain, which means they don't have time to build up dangerous toxins. Plus, they're budget-friendly and easy to prepare. So, before you serve swordfish at your next family gathering, ask yourself, is it worth the risk? Because the truth is, your body in its golden years needs more care, not more burden. Now let's shift gears a little. There's another fish, one that's often overlooked. It doesn't come with fancy labels or high-end restaurant menus. But behind its mild flavor and affordable price tag, it could be silently clogging your arteries and stirring up inflammation in your body. Let's talk about farmed salmon. Now, here's a story that might sound a little too familiar. Linda, 74, a retired schoolteacher from Oregon, always tried to make smart food choices. She walked every morning, drank plenty of water, and added salmon to her diet 3 times a week because, well, that's what her doctor said was good for her heart and her brain. And she felt proud of it: grilled salmon on Monday, baked salmon on Wednesday, and a little salmon salad on Sunday. It became part of her routine. But during a routine checkup, her doctor noticed something unexpected: her inflammation markers had spiked. Her joints were itchier. Her energy was lower. And what shocked her the most was that her cholesterol had actually gone up. So, what was going on? Turns out, Linda had been eating farmed salmon. Now listen closely. Because this is something a lot of folks don't realize. There's a huge difference between farmed salmon and wild-caught salmon. Even though they look the same on your plate, under the surface, they're worlds apart. Farmed salmon are raised in crowded pens, fed on unnatural diets, often made of corn, soy, and processed animal byproducts. Because of that, they build up high levels of inflammatory omega-6 fatty acids, the kind that fuel arthritis, joint pain, and even heart disease in older adults. And to keep these fish from getting sick in those tight pens, many are treated with antibiotics, which can leave behind trace residues that you end up eating, week after week, without even knowing it. Now, here's where most people slip up: they go to the grocery store, pick up a pack labeled salmon, and never check where it's from. But if it doesn't clearly say wild-caught or Alaskan salmon, there's a good chance it's farmed. And here's the truth. Farmed salmon might do more harm than good, especially for seniors trying to manage inflammation, brain health, or heart function. So, what can you do? Simple: choose wild Alaskan salmon whenever possible. It's naturally raised, clean, full of healthy omega-3s, and free from artificial additives. Yes, it might cost a little more. But ask yourself, what's your health worth? You've worked too hard, lived too long, and learned too much to be fooled by a label. Now, if you think that's surprising, wait till you hear this next one. It's a fish you've probably eaten at a fast food restaurant. Maybe even dipped in tartar sauce and enjoyed with fries. It's crispy, it's cheap, it's everywhere. But for older adults, it may be even worse than red meat. Let's talk about shark. Let's talk about something you don't see on the dinner table every day: shark. Now I want you to meet Walter, a 70-year-old from Florida. He was on vacation with his wife, celebrating their 45th wedding anniversary. They went out to this fancy beachside restaurant, right on the water. Beautiful sunset. Waves crashing in the distance. The special that night? Grilled shark steak. The waiter raved about it: high in protein, low in fat, full of flavor. so Walter gave it a try. And he loved it. Firm, meaty, almost like steak. He even said it was the best fish he'd ever tasted. But over the next few months, Walter began feeling different. His joints ached, even though he hadn't changed his routine. His memory started slipping, little things at first. He felt slower, foggier, not quite himself. He chalked it up to aging, until his blood work came back. High mercury. High urea. Signs of kidney stress. Signs of liver strain. And the source? That healthy, fancy, grilled shark. You see, shark may seem exotic. Sophisticated, even. But for seniors, it's a toxic trap. Shark are apex predators, top of the food chain. That means they live long lives, and over time, they accumulate massive amounts of mercury and urea in their bodies. And when you eat shark, you're getting all of it. Now here's the real problem: your kidneys and liver, the very organs responsible for filtering out toxins, are already working harder as you age. They're slower, more delicate. And when you add mercury and urea to the mix, you're putting a serious burden on systems that are already under pressure. A lot of people think it's a rare treat, it can't hurt, but for older adults, that one-time indulgence can have long-lasting effects. So, if you're looking for something hearty, rich, and satisfying, skip the shark. Instead, try trout. It's flavorful, it's full of good fats, and it's gentle on your system. Plus, it's far safer, especially for those of us looking to protect our brain, heart, and joints as we age. But now, we come to the final fish on our list. And this one? It's the most common. The most tempting. And possibly the most dangerous. It's cheap. It's comforting. It's on every diner and takeout menu across the country. And for a lot of folks on a fixed income, it's a weekly favorite. Let's talk about catfish. Let me tell you about Diane, 76 years old, living just outside of Memphis. Every Friday night, like clockwork, she'd head to her neighborhood diner and order the same thing: fried catfish. Coleslaw. Cornbread. Sweet tea. It was her little reward at the end of the week. Something about it made her feel connected to her roots. But one evening, Diane had a scare. She felt a sharp pain in her chest. Dizziness. Weakness in her arm. She was rushed to the hospital, and what doctors found changed everything. She'd had a mini stroke. When they looked deeper, her cholesterol was off the charts. Her blood pressure was up, and her inflammation levels were high. Her doctor started asking about her diet, and that weekly fried catfish? It wasn't just a treat. It was a problem. Here's why: catfish are bottom feeders. They live in rivers and lakes, especially in the south, and they feed off whatever settles at the bottom: chemicals, waste, pesticides, and all kinds of toxins. Over time, they absorb those poisons into their flesh. And when you eat that flesh, you're getting those toxins, too. Now, I get it, catfish is cheap. It's familiar. And for many older adults on a budget, it feels like a good option. But here's the truth: cheap now might cost you later. Not just in money, but in mobility, independence, and peace of mind. So, if you enjoy a mild, flaky fish, here's a smarter swap: cod or haddock. They're low in toxins, easy to digest, and they don't carry the same environmental burden. And when they're prepared right, baked, grilled, or lightly pan-seared, they're every bit as comforting as that fried catfish, without the hidden health risks. You deserve to enjoy your meals. But you also deserve to protect your brain, your heart, and your body. And sometimes, that protection starts with what you choose not to eat. Let's take a breath here. Because I know this isn't easy to hear. Some of these fish, you might have grown up with them. They might remind you of Sundays with family, fish fries at the church, or quiet meals at the kitchen table. They've been part of your routine, your comfort, maybe even your culture. And now, someone's telling you they're dangerous? That's hard. Because food isn't just food, it's memory. It's connection. It's love. So it makes sense that hearing these truths stings a little. And for many seniors, especially those who've done their best to eat right, it can even feel like betrayal. You trusted these foods to keep you strong. But now you're finding out. Some of them may be slowly pulling you in the wrong direction. But here's the beautiful part, friend. You're still in control. You have the power to change. And not just for the sake of numbers on a chart, but for your clarity, your balance, your future. Because every choice, every meal, is a chance to either nourish your body, or challenge it. When you remove the heavy toxins, the sneaky chemicals, the inflammation triggers, you give your body room to heal. To breathe easier. To remember names again. To walk without stiffness. To feel like you again. And here's the thing, this isn't about perfection. It's about awareness. It's about choosing to do better, bit by bit, moment by moment. So, start small. Check your fridge. Look at the fish in your freezer. Have a conversation with your children or your caregiver. Let them know what you've learned today. Share it. Talk about it. Question it. Because silence keeps us stuck. But knowledge? That sets us free. Maybe it's switching out one fish this week. Maybe it's just learning to read a label before you buy. Maybe it's helping your spouse, or your neighbor, make the same change. Whatever you do, just know this, it matters. Every small step in the right direction leads to stronger, safer, more vibrant years. You're not too old to start. You're not too late to change. And you're certainly not alone. You deserve to wake up with a clear mind. You deserve joints that don't ache and a heart that's not overworked. You deserve food that fuels you, not food that fails you. And it starts, not with what you add to your plate, but with what you take off of it. Let's take a moment to recap what we've learned today, because the truth you now carry could be the very thing that helps you, or someone you love, avoid unnecessary pain down the line. The 6 fish older adults should never eat are, king mackerel, for its sky-high mercury that threatens your memory. Tilefish, a silent trigger for nerve damage and numbness. Swordfish, rich in toxins and too heavy for aging digestion. Farmed salmon, full of inflammation-causing fats and hidden antibiotics. Shark, an exotic but dangerous choice, especially for kidneys and liver. And catfish, a bottom feeder that brings pollution right to your plate. Now, let me ask you, which one surprised you the most? Was there a fish you thought was safe, that now feels like a hidden danger? Or maybe you've already made a smart switch and found a healthier option that works for you? Tell me in the comments. I truly do read every single one. Because your stories, your questions, and your wisdom help shape this community. You never know who you might help just by sharing your experience. And if this video helped open your eyes even a little, if you feel better informed, better equipped, and more in control of your health today than you did 15 minutes ago, then don't let this be the end of the conversation. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button for more videos just like this. Designed specifically for you, the older adult who's not willing to settle for confusion, noise, or half-truths. Here at Elderly Wisdom Guide, we strip it all down and speak from the heart, with compassion, with facts, and with a deep respect for your life experience. Because you've been through too much to be misled now. You deserve truth. You deserve clarity. And you deserve to age with strength, purpose, and dignity. So, stay connected. Stay curious. Stay wise. Thank you for spending part of your day with me, it means more than you know. You're not alone on this journey. So, Until next time. Take care of yourself. Choose what's right for you. And I'll see you in the next video.